Hey, is that not a dope intro or what? I know most of you are probably really confused. KC Everett is enjoying his honeymoon. I decided to fill in. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Chris Hammond. I run the Tubs of the Club podcast for you probably could guess it, the University of Idaho. Also a big sky guy. Man, my pointing is off today, eh? Not Canadian, just dropping the A's. And I'm kind of just here to talk NAU, maybe a little bit different than how Casey does it. You know, not being an NAU guy. Also, you happen to be playing Idaho State, obviously somebody I know a little bit about. So he asked if I would help fill in, and I said, sure, why not? I love talking about how people can beat those Bengals. So that's what we're going to do today. So y'all going to have to bear with me as I kind of try to get through this, right? Like I'm learning your teams while I'm still trying to figure out my team, including the team you're playing. But I think we'll be able to do an adequate job to where most of you hopefully don't hate me after this. So let's get into it. Heartbreaker, ladies and gentlemen. This game that for you guys, Northern Colorado in Greeley, I believe it's gone to the home team like the last decade. So a game where, yeah, I thought NAU probably should win this one, especially at the beginning of the year. Northern Colorado has proven to be pretty successful this season, having a lot better success than they'd had in the past. It's not the or the Northern Colorado team of years past. So you kind of got to get over that when you're thinking about this, because I know from somebody whose team has lost Northern Colorado before, that could be a real pretty big gut punch. But this Northern Colorado team is different. I mean, they're 2-2 on the year, right? They've played pretty competitive, other than, well, actually in a lot of their games, to be honest. And it went to overtime. Big stop there to kind of seal the deal. So it's not like you were out of it. If you can kind of have that kind of game on the road, where, let's be honest, some things just didn't go your way. Quarterback play was okay, right? Martinez goes 21 to 37, 208 yards. That's a good stat line. It's just the ball didn't get into the end zone. Then you have your guys like Drayson Hall, who are big playmakers for you guys, still able to get 76 yards, average 5.4 yards a pop, but can't get in the end zone. That's kind of where a lot of your problem is. And then, you know, in my opinion, have probably the best duo, if not definitely the best trio of wide receivers in the entire Big Sky, if not the country, and Hendricks Johnson, Stacy Chuckamunzi, and Brandon Porter. I see Brandon Porter didn't catch that, so maybe I'm missing something. I'm sorry if I am. But Hendricks Johnson, only 3 catches, but all of them 71 yards, so 23.7 yards a carry. Like, your big plays are there. It's just putting it together. If you looked at this offensive stat line and told me did not show me the touchdown stat line, I would think that the NAU offense put in at least probably 21, 24 points. So that's something you can work on there. It's just going to have to click. And I think maybe you come off that big emotional win against Arizona, right? After kind of what I would assume you guys thought as a letdown to the season at that point, being 0-2. Having a game against Sam Houston where it wasn't necessarily competitive, and then having a really bad game against South Dakota. You get that game against Arizona, you go, okay, maybe things will be all right? We got to fear the SCS win. And I think maybe that's where you slept on Northern Colorado. Like, you know, focused on Arizona, thought Northern Colorado was going to be the same old basic Northern Colorado. And that was not the case. Dylan McCaffrey is there now, former 4-star. From, you know, Colorado, coaching for his dad, Ed McCaffrey. He's bringing in talent left and right. True Wilson didn't get a lot of stick in this game, the transfer from Michigan, but, you know, it's just that team is a different team. And I just want to make sure that NAU fans don't get too low on this loss, because it is not the Northern Colorado most people expected. I know there's a couple guys like Aaron Rath and Ben Schleiger who covered the Bears that were trying to tell anyone that would listen that the Bears were going to be decent this year. And it appears that is the case. So I don't want to dwell too much on your guys' past game, because I'm sure you guys don't want to dwell too much on your past game. Losing in overtime stinks. Let's see what you guys can do this week as you face the Idaho State Bengals at home. So, Idaho State. Coming into this season, I actually had they just came off a loss against Sac State. So this one's going to be really weird for me. I have my standings up there. You can't actually read this year's as that one. But I had you guys actually at 6, and I had Idaho State at 7, Idaho at 8, and Sac State at 9. So we're kind of in this little middle bunch of teams that I think are going to kind of be pushing for that dark horse candidate, or did at least. And Idaho State, obviously, I gave a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt than Sac State. They just lost to Sac State at home on their homecoming. So it goes to show preseason polls don't mean anything. Also, seeing NAU, at 6 and then really starting to struggle here to start the season, other than a big FBS win. Sac State, I'm not very high on. So this is hard for me to bite this pride of saying that Idaho State I had a lot of faith in, and I did not think Sac State was going to be very good. I still don't think Sac State is very good. So I think the fact that you're pairing this with this recent Idaho State game where they went down 23-21 to the Hornets is not good. The Hornets ended up kicking a field goal to take the game in the fourth quarter. So, a game that's was pretty tight throughout. It was tied up twice and 13 minutes left. So there's tons of time for the Bengals to come back and win this game. And they just didn't. They just had no energy. And, that's something that I'm thinking you might be able to get a little bit out of when you come to this game. And then looking at it, because their stats aren't uploaded from this game into their total stats. I don't know what's going on this year with Tyler Vanderwall, a guy who I actually had as my preseason Big Sky Offensive Player of the Year. I gave MVP to Eric Berrier, or vice versa, one of the two. I just think Vanderwall, I think maybe was MVP to either way. I had Tyler Vanderwall receiving a Big Sky Conference accolade this season because I thought he showed a ton in the spring. Big arm quarterback transfer from Wyoming. And, FBS transfers don't always work out. You guys have kind of seen it, like Wood T struggled to get his legs under him. Weber State saw it with Randall Johnson struggling to get his feet under him to the point where now Bronson Barron is playing. Idaho's kind of seeing it with Mike Beaudry, even though he won our starting job, and he's a transfer from UConn. So transferring from the FBS doesn't necessarily mean success. But Tyler Vanderwall proved it in the spring. In fact, out of all the new quarterbacks in the spring, I thought he played the best. That has not been the case this year. He struggled to seem to get any bit of reliability under him, whether it's comfortability or just the fact that they have played an extremely tough schedule, you guys. Idaho State opened the year at North Dakota, who is a top program. I mean, some people have them as high as number 10 in their polls. Nevada, who's probably going to win the Mountain West Conference this year. They had to do that on the road. And then they get Sac State, who I'm low on, but everybody else had pretty high. And either way, close game. But I think Idaho State is down. I think this one is right for NAU's pickings. Now, NAU also is a lot like Idaho State. It's almost like staring a similar team in the mirror. You both had very big underdog, dark horse candidates written all over you for this season, and neither of you have seemed to really click it together. Now, you both are only 1 week in the conference play. You can turn it around, right? If you win out the conference, it's going to be huge in terms of trying to be that dark horse candidate, maybe get the 5th or 6th spot from the Big Sky in the playoffs, because the Big Sky is absolutely stacked this year. So it's going to be really hard to get in. But the problem is, I think this game is really big for both of these programs, because whoever wins this game's season can probably say it's on the right track, right? Like this was a get right game for one of these teams, both coming off really close losses. And unfortunately, it's not like it gets easier for either of you, but you're going to have to get the win. People to look forward to if you're Idaho State, Malachi Rango, the running back, best name in the Big Sky. I know you guys have a really good one at B. Miller, but like Malachi Rango, running back, Idaho State, freaking just an animal stud, really hard to tackle, really shifty. Just be prepared for that. Tanner Connor is still there. It feels like he's been there for 7 years at wide receiver. If he and Tyler Vanderwall can get right, this could be bad for NAU's defense that sometimes seems to lack the bend but don't break part of that equation. They do seem to break a little bit. And maybe this is just turning around, holding NAU or Northern Colorado to 17 points, especially with Dylan McCaffrey back. But I just need to see it from the Lumberjacks. I mean, they let South Dakota just blow the doors off them. They let Sam Houston blow the doors off them, which, to be fair, Sam Houston probably should have, right? They're the defending national champions. There's no slack in that. But NAU has too good of offensive players to only put up 10 points, too. Like, right now, it feels like everything the NAU is doing is just backwards. How is it that you have guys like Hendrick Johnson and Stacey Chuckamunzi and Drayson Hall, and, you're struggling to get more than like 10, 14 points on the board. You're going to have to figure it out. And I think a lot of it's that quarterback position. I know Woodkey came in with high hopes. I know that Martinez is getting a lot of looks now. And like I said, his numbers aren't bad. So maybe he is the guy. There's 2 straight games he's gotten some playing time in, significant playing time in, important playing time in. So hopefully, you can get right. I don't know what more to really tell NAU fans other than this game is very important. And I think you're going to have to bring energy. I'm not sure if it's your homecoming or not. I know it's kind of homecoming season, but if it is, that place, you've got to have the walk-up Sky Dome loud because I worry for NAU if you guys are not able to walk away with a victory this week. That being said, kind of looking at my predictions, like I said, Idaho State is just kind of reeling as well. A team that definitely didn't. 0-3 was a realistic start, but I don't think anyone on that team thought they would start 0-3. So they're going to be looking really pissed off, and I think they understand the importance of this game, where at least NAU has that win and that FBS win. But like I said on our Tubs of the Club show, if you're NAU, that Arizona thing, and I'm speaking from an outsider, right? Like, feel free to comment down below or follow me on Twitter and blast me for it. But NAU beating U of A did nothing for this program. That is a game that did not count towards your playoff resume. And like I said, I think you would have much rather had that South Dakota win, and obviously would have rather had that Northern Colorado win than that Arizona win. Maybe in-state, you guys were happy to have the bragging rights. But if I'm looking as a team that I thought had a really good shot and a lot of talent returning and a really good shot to push the Sky, I didn't think you guys would win it, but push. Obviously, I had you 6 right outside kind of the obvious top 5. I'm just not seeing it right now. And I'm going to need to see more out of the Lumberjacks to get that confidence. And this is the team to do it. You have another team that has almost the exact same blueprint as you coming to your place this week. So, blow the doors off of them, right? You've seemed to got quarterback figured out. They have a good quarterback and don't seem to have quarterback figured out. Take advantage of that. Get in his face, bring energy to him early, and make them not trust if it is Tyler Vanderwall who walks out, that Vanderwall might struggle and they might need to look elsewhere. And then if Hunter Hayes comes in, you got to figure it out defensively and stop these guys, because right now they're looking to have kind of the similar offensive woes that you guys are, and a team that has been known for offense in the past. While I did say Tanner Connor is still there and Malachi Rango is a good running back, they have lost a lot of offensive production in the last 2 or 3 seasons. This is a team where if your defense shows up, you can win. Going into this, I hate coming on the show, all right? Coming on the show to you nice Lumberjack people and not being able to put my best foot forward, but I'm just going to tell you how it is, right? I texted KC Everett a couple times before the season, just reading and researching your guys' team, and literally said, I really like what NAU's got this year. Hey, I just listened to, coaching interview or the Big Sky Media Day and seeing workout videos or looking at your recruiting classes that have been freaking top 5 in the FCS at least last season. I think the last 2 seasons. Man, I'm not sure you're going to win this one, boys and girls. If I'm going to say I think the offenses get right in this game, I think these defenses are just what just, mother loving happened to us. 34-30 Bengals. NAU just seems lost on offense at times, where Idaho State seems like they just haven't gotten in a rhythm, where the Lumberjacks just seem lost sometimes. Optimistic outtake, though, because I'm not going to sit here and leave you guys with that pessimistic, this guy came on our show and told us we're going to lose, F this guy mentality. It's Saturday. It's at your place. Of course you can freaking win. Win. If it's going to happen, hit those flipping wide receivers you have. You guys have the best duo, if not trio, of wide receivers, maybe in the FCS, definitely in the Big Sky. Maybe Eastern Washington beat you. Maybe. But you are neck and neck with those guys. Utilize them. Eastern Washington utilizes those weapons. And then they have guys like Efren and Chisholm come out of nowhere that nobody even knew about. And that's what you guys have the ability to do because you are so deep at the wide receiver position. And I know there's this commitment where you guys want to be able to run the ball. But look, you're 1-3. It's time to start winning games. Running the ball is cute and work on it when you can. But this season is kind of in the balance in this game. You can get right. Freaking Hendricks Johnson needs more than 3 receptions. Stacey Chuckamunzi needs more than 1 reception if you're going to win games. That is my advice. If any of the coaching staff is listening, obviously I'm not a coach. I'm a talking head who sits in a room with stuff on the wall and a gold microphone, acting cool, talking about sports. And in this case, 2 teams I'm pretty unfamiliar with this year because we don't have you guys till later in the year, so I haven't done a ton of research into it. But I've looked at stats. I did watch the highlights in the last 3 games, and I rewatched the game against Northern Colorado, and I watched till halftime of the Idaho State-Sac State game to get prepared just for this episode. So, I do my film too. Sometimes you look lost on offense where Idaho State just looks like they are out of sync in offense. Fix it, and you should be fine. That's all I got. Thank you, Lumberjacks, for bearing with me as I fill in for Casey. Congratulations to the Mr. and Mrs. Everett. I know you guys are all clapping along with me. When the time comes, I've been on the show, so I think most of you know who I am. Feel free to check us out at Tubbs at the Club when we play NAU this year. Hopefully get down to Flagstaff here for one of these games because I would love to come see that part of town. I have nothing against your team. So if this is your first experience with me, I'm actually a pretty big NAU supporter. I got it on. It's just I'm trying to shoot it straight. I'm not in the business of losing money, as it were, as a gambler. I'm just telling you, if this spread is 3.5 Idaho State, I'm taking 3.5 Idaho State to cover, to win by 4. So that's just where I'm at. I hope I'm wrong because I would love nothing more to be the good luck charm that whenever I come on the show and hosting you guys win. Next thing you know, I'm running 2 shows, NAU and Idaho. And maybe I let Casey on the Idaho show and they start winning because I have a whole show talking about how bad our offense is. So, anyways, I'm rambling now, just trying to win your guys' affection. And honestly, you'll win it. You guys would probably rather laugh in my face when you go, "You're freaking wrong. Don't ever let that clown back on." But in that case, NAU, go, or Lumberjacks hack or chop. That's it. CHOP, Lumberjacks fans. Thank you for tuning in to the NAU Sports Show, guest hosted by myself, Chris Hammond. And check me out. My Twitter's on the screen. If it's an audio form, it's Chris_P_Hammond. And I hope you guys prove me wrong this weekend in Flagstaff. Go Jacks.